everyone, and welcome back to Eligible In, where we feature eligible guests that you can date literally at any time as long as you are also eligible. My name is Yusuf, and today I'm going to be your host. Before we introduce our amazing guest, I remind you that if you enjoy this conversation, please give us a follow on our social media and be sure to subscribe to our podcast. You can literally find it on any platform you want to watch your podcasts. It's going to be a long list. I'm not going to name them all, but literally anywhere. So without further ado, today we are going to be introducing Torrie. Hi, Torrie.
How are you, Yusuf?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, doing well. Happy to
We
be
were
here.
just talking about it, but y'all, look at the gorgeous hair on this woman. Like the curls are curling. I'm obsessed. It's beautiful. I wish my hair was long so I could have curls like that, but I don't. It's
Oh,
okay.
you're
Um,
sweet. You're sweet. Thank you.
yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from and kind of what do you do for work? We can start there and go off.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm originally from the Chicago suburbs. I'm from Evanston, and about a year ago, I moved back to Chicago, and I'm getting reacquainted with the city. So I guess a bit more about me. I'm a runner and a spin instructor, so I really like exercising and sweating. I love traveling, experiencing new cultures and meeting new people. Um, I also, as most people do, work on my laptop sitting down for most of the day. But when I'm not working, I really enjoy using my hands to make things. So, like candles, jewelry, coasters, re-drywalling a wall, etc. And for work, I design takeoff and landing locations for electric aircraft.
Walk us through what a day of work looks like and maybe what drew you to this field as well.
Yes. Um, what I'll start with what drew me to this field. So, as you can kind of tell from the wine nights and the connecting people, I have realized that my why in life, what I can give back to the world, is to connect people. So, I wanted to pursue a career in transportation specifically because transportation physically connects people over distances and helps them access healthcare, economic opportunities, helps them connect with their families and friends, and helps them be happier. And so many people view transportation as this necessary evil or this like really frustrating or burdensome thing. So I want to smooth that experience for people so it's easier to have access to health, wealth, and happiness. So my job in general, I am an infrastructure expert specifically for these takeoff and landing locations for electric air taxis. And since there are not a lot of these experts in the world and these vertiports don't really exist yet, the air taxis don't really exist yet, I have had to wear a lot of different hats in my career. So I've done product management to figure out what the aircraft need to be able to land on the vertiports. I've done vertiport design to figure out what those vertiports need to accommodate the aircraft. I have done demand modeling to figure out where to put the vertiports in an urban environment. And there are a lot of different variables that come into play with figuring that out. It is really a puzzle.
It's a vertiport.
So the vertiport is the takeoff and landing
That's
location
what that is.
for
Okay.
the air taxis.
And
Yeah.
then why is it called an air taxi?
They're actually called eVTOLs,
Eve
electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Air taxi is just
the
a layman's word.
okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of like Uber in the sky. So you can order this aircraft, go to one of the takeoff and landing locations, and then transit across a city or between nearby cities.
Okay.
So it's urban transportation and regional transportation.
Okay, cool. I've never heard of that before. We also yeah, that sounds very, very cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's the future, and I it's really exciting because it doesn't exist. So
Mhm.
there are so many things we don't know while designing these systems and the operations of the aircraft. So you're never wrong in the moment. ideas can be proven wrong later, but it's always really fun to just kind of ideate and figure out how this ecosystem could work.
Do you have like a team of people you work with, or is it more of a like, do you work solo most days?
Definitely with other people. Yeah.
People?
I work pretty heavily with partnerships and business development and yeah, working with operators of this infrastructure, working with airlines who might be operating the aircraft, working with the federal government, the FAA in the US, and working with cities, municipalities, groups of people. My role touches so many different stakeholders
Mhm.
and every day is kind of a different game of which hat do I need to put on and who am I going to be talking to? What am I going to be learning? Am I
Mhm.
talking about airspace? Am I talking about electrical utilities? Am I talking about passenger experience and passenger booking? It's kind of all over the place, but that's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing that you like from what you said was the fact that like it doesn't exist. So
No.
you're building to something and like you kind of know what you want to build, but you're trying to figure out how to get there. So like I'm sure there's like moments of like big wins and like satisfaction and like and feeling okay, we're like step moving forward. And then
Yes.
like I'm sure there's days where you're like, okay, now it feels like kind of back to the beginning where we were. But that's
Yeah.
really I'm sure you'll feel very, satisfied when this project kind of comes nears its, like, completion stage. That'll
Yes.
be very nice.
Definitely, definitely. Stay on the lookout. You will be flying in one of these things in a few years.
That sounds yeah, I'm gonna look into that more too because that's just so interesting to me. And then how what's the size comparison from the airplane, say, to travel from country to country to one of these air taxis?
Yeah. So they're similar in size to helicopters, but they have more redundancy built in, so they're safer. They also have a different noise profile, so they're not as annoying. But yeah, similar to a helicopter. So the
Right.
vertiports are fairly similar to heliports, but they're built for different propeller
Mhm.
setups and built specifically for these electric aircraft.
And then is the like, how many people can be in one? Just, like, 2 people?
So there are a crazy number of these aircraft concepts, but some of them are single person, single passenger, and some of them are 2, 4, 6,
Mm.
20 passengers. So I think on average, you'd probably see between 2 and 6 electric air taxis.
That sounds crazy. So
It's pretty
you
cool.
yeah, that's very impressive. First of all, I love your list of hobbies. Like, those are, like, some top tier hobbies.
Cool.
Traveling, building things with your hand. I recently just went to a pottery class, and it's intense.
Yes.
It's intense, but it's
It is
it's kind of
intense.
nice because you see the product you're making in front of you, and
Yeah,
it's like a satisfying feeling.
it really
But
is.
you said you're a huge travel junkie, and you
Yes.
kind of like to enjoy the cultures that are all
Yeah.
around. I think that's really important too, because you obviously wanna soak up everything there is to life.
Mhm.
So what are some places that you visited and, like, some top tier moments that you've experienced?
Yeah. So I guess it was about a month ago now. I came back from kind of a world tour for 5 weeks. I went to Greece, Thailand, and Nepal and just met new people, met up with different groups of friends in different places and experienced the culture, the food, took some cooking classes.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was my most recent trip. I've kind of been all over the world. I don't know what my next trip is though.
Come to Toronto. Let's link up. Come to
I'd
Toronto.
love
Let's
to.
link up.
I'd love
Uh,
to.
when you do your traveling, are you a person who feels comfortable to, like, do solo traveling? Because I know that's a big hurdle for a lot of people. So,
Yeah.
are you someone who solo travels?
Yes, definitely. So I think this was 2018. My largest solo traveling trip was to South Africa for 3 weeks. And I did find that 3 weeks was a little too long to be alone. It got pretty lonely. But no, I'm not opposed to solo traveling in general. One of the weeks of my world tour was alone. I met friends, I stayed at a hostel, and yeah, it's great. It's
Mhm.
great to be alone, but it's also great to travel with friends and have someone to share those memories with afterwards.
I think like one of the biggest green flags that I look in people, and I guess you possess this, is the ability to solo travel because it just represents like a level of peace you have within yourself that you're able to like go on this trip alone and just like let yourself experience whatever there is to experience. And it's a
Yeah.
scary hurdle to get over, but I'm glad that you are amazing at it and just are able to do it. 3 weeks in South, you said South Africa?
South Africa, yeah.
That is impressive. That is very
It's
impressive.
fun. Yeah, driving a manual car on the other side of the road alone. It
That is
did
badass.
require some confidence.
No, and you know what? That is true. There is truth in that. Like I know for myself, I haven't done much solo traveling, but
Mhm.
the idea of it is very interesting because you don't have to perform for anybody, right? You're
No.
alone. If you want downtime, you have your downtime. If you want to socialize with
Yeah.
strangers, you can. If you want to rot in bed for one of the days you're there, you can too. It's really nice that way.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
is. You should do it. You should try.
Honestly, I think I'm actually going to Michigan next week or in a few weeks by
Okay.
myself. Some friends there, so I guess that'll be my little soft launch.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so you said that you obviously have this really, really cool job, and I'm sure that brings you some type of fulfillment in life. I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming it would bring you joy. But what other elements in your life do you kind of draw to for that fulfillment or for like comfort or something like that?
Yeah. So I really love spending time with new people. I really love connecting with people, getting to know their stories, learning more about them, their personalities. So when I'm not working, you'll either find me at a happy hour with friends, at some event where I'm making new friends, or running. Yeah.
The running thing is kind of crazy because I feel like we're on opposite spectrums. I'm someone who, like, won't even run to catch the bus. Like, if I'm gonna miss my bus, I'm not running because the idea of,
I
like,
won't
being
do that either.
the idea of, like, someone perceiving me running to catch a bus is just, like I'm just not there yet. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So when you run, do you just, like, run in public, on trails, things like that?
Run in public. That makes it sound so dirty. Yeah, I really like to run with running groups, so it's
Okay.
kind of a social activity, but I think when I'm traveling as well, it's a great way to explore a new city, a new area. So, yeah, I kind of run all over the place with or without people, but no, but I will not run to catch the bus. You know,
Okay.
if like I have makeup on, if I'm dressed nicely, if I'm wearing heels, no.
Yeah. In terms of hanging out with your friends, do you have a very strong support system around you in Chicago?
So, since I recently moved back here, I've been reconnecting with a bunch of old friends from when I previously lived in Chicago, but I've also been doing a bunch of activities to try to meet new friends. So, I do have a strong relationship with a few folks here, but I would say most of my closer friends here now are new.
Okay. And how has that been kind of entering a space you've already existed in, having to meet new people? Did you have to kind of change the way you approached meeting new people, or has it kind of been the same?
Yeah, it's definitely been difficult. I think over time I've realized that it's okay to approach someone and ask if they want to grab coffee or compliment their style or say, "Hey, I have that same backpack." You know, find
Right.
some commonalities with them. It's okay for them to not respond positively. I think over time, I've realized that everyone kind of needs to be met in a different place. And if someone is a little more introverted, then maybe cold calling them or just approaching them as a stranger is not something that they're comfortable with. But yeah, I think for the most part, I've always been a very sociable person. I'll always make first contact. And I've been known to pick up friends at restaurants, like meet a random person who's eating Thai food at the table next to me and become friends with them. So I think that hasn't changed too much over time.
Do you
Yeah.
have a few recommendations for people, whether it might be a restaurant or a bar, or one of your favorite memories in Chicago?
Okay. Restaurants and bars. I'm a huge fan of the Parlor Pizza Happy Hour. They have amazing glasses of wine for a pretty good price. In terms of other restaurants, I mean anything Thai food,
Okay.
any sushi restaurant, any ramen place, they're all pretty good especially compared to um Nashville where I was living before. But Chicago just has so many great food options. So, I mean, whatever you're in the mood for, Chicago has it.
So when you're going kind of on dates and stuff, are you the type of person who enjoys a first date at a restaurant, or would you rather something more relaxed and interactive where you can talk with the person more without having to like make sure you're like, tidy and stuff?
Yeah. Um, I think restaurants are great for second dates or third
Okay.
dates.
I agree.
I think for a first date, a glass of wine or a beer somewhere is low key enough to get to know someone, fill in the large blanks of who they are. And if the date's not going well, you can cut it short, one drink, two drinks. You can kind of control the length a little more with going out for a drink. Whereas dinner it's something I would want to do once I know I'm interested in someone.
In your dating history, what has been some of the best dates that you've been on? And kind of what three things do you look for on a date to qualify it to be like a good date or a good experience?
Okay. Interesting question. So the best date I have ever been on was at the Chicago airport at O'Hare at an airline lounge. I'm an aviation geek, and the guy I was on a date with was also an aviation geek, and we met up there between flights. He was coming back from somewhere and I was going somewhere for work, and we met at a lounge. And we had cocktails, we had wine overlooking the runways and overlooking these aircraft taking off and landing. And we were just talking about the airplanes and air transportation in general and nerding out together. So that was a lot of fun actually. So the three aspects that make a good date, the person, of course, you can't have a date without another person. As long as they're easy to converse with and have some similarities, some commonalities, some things in common to talk about. I think uh, the conversation is generally very good. I also do really enjoy having alcohol on dates. I think it breaks down barriers
Or
and allows you to like get to know people a little bit better and yeah, allows people to be more of their true selves and not be self-conscious or worry about the Thai food that's on their plate.
what would you order? Imagine you're on a
Uh,
first date at an airport lounge and there's planes taking off. What would
yes,
your choice of beverage be?
probably a medium-bodied, balanced red wine. Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
a
a drinker?
I am a red drinker.
Right.
Yes,
So you have a deep love for red wine.
I do. Yeah.
And do you incorporate wine into your personal life with your friends? Do you like to have wine nights, anything like that in your
Yeah.
life?
Yeah, so I do, I do love wine, and I love tasting different types of wine and, like, trying things side by side and figuring out how to differentiate them. So, yeah, I actually do host wine nights at my place. I've been doing it for years, but it's actually become pretty well known in my group of friends, and people ask when my next wine night is. So there are two rules for the wine nights. I invite a random smattering of people, and the first rule is that they have to bring someone who is not invited. The second rule is that they have to bring at least one bottle of wine that corresponds with whatever theme I set. So, cabs, or wines from California or blended wines. And then if they want to submit the wines to a blind tasting, I'll wrap them up in aluminum foil, put a number on them, and then people can taste all of the different wines that are wrapped up and disguised and rate their favorite wines.
But
So,
I love that. And
yeah.
is you I'm assuming you'd be the host. Do you have people helping you out, or are you kind of like, "I'm taking charge of this, everyone else is a guest, I'm taking full control?"
No, I do not take full control. I think of these wine nights as an opportunity for people to meet new
Okay.
friends, meet new groups of people. And when you have someone who's like orchestrating a formal tasting, think that um, it feels formal. It feels like rigid. So no, no, no. There's no like formal we're tasting wine A now. People just taste the wines on the table as they want to, they refill as they want to, and I guess people can drink things that aren't wine, but wine is highly encouraged at wine nights.
No vodka crayons. allowed at the wine
No
night.
vodka crayons, no. And no Negronis.
Now, let's say you are talking to someone.
Mhm.
How long do you think you'll be having to talk to them before they can get an entry into your exclusive wine nights that you host?
Not long, not long. I kind of just wanna include everyone,
Okay.
whether they're a romantic interest or a romantic interest turned friend or the random person sitting next to me at that restaurant the other day. I mean, it doesn't take long for me to start including people in my social activities.
I love that. I see so many people often complaining about a lack of community. And I think sometimes they forget that to build community, you have to do those things like
Yes.
talk to strangers and putting
Yeah.
yourself out there. Like that's
Right.
how you build people around you. We can't have these
Right.
like nonchalant attitudes about wanting community, but I'm not putting in the work to
Mhm.
like for a space for said community to build.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if you're not being invited to things or you're feeling excluded, the first place to start is by creating your own event
For sure.
and inviting people to you. And I think the more that you do that, the more people start thinking about you, especially when you're moving to a new city and you're trying to get to know people. Yeah, the more people start thinking about you and including you in their activities and developing a community around yeah. Yeah.
So we obviously talked about the good kind of dates and you kind of discussed how you want good conversation, a good attitude, a good
Mhm.
person, and then obviously some drinks involved as well. Now, when you could think of a bad dating experience, do any come to mind? And then maybe what three qualities or events that you do think would be a bad date if it were to happen?
Yeah. So I do think the conversation is the most important thing to me. If the conversation does not flow, if it
Uh,
is bad, it is really difficult for me to get into the date and view it as a good date. So I guess I've been on dates where the guy only asks me questions like he's interviewing me. And when I try to pivot it back to him, he ignores the question. I don't love that because I also want to get to know the other person on a date. There have also been dates where I am talking the entire time and when I ask the other person a question, they give me a one-word answer or they don't engage. And that's really hard to make conversation. It's really exhausting to make conversation with someone who is not interested in conversing. But also if they're rude, if they're negative, I think negativity is something that really turns me off. Doesn't matter how good the rest of the conversation is. If they're complaining about everything that's happened in their day, everything that's happened for the last week, month, year, their life, that's just energy I don't want to be around. But I haven't really had too many terrible dates. So it's hard for me to explain,
fair.
I guess, what would make a bad date.
In your dating journey right now, amidst, all of the busy elements in your life, where do you kind of see your relationship goals set at right now? Obviously, you being on here means you're eligible and actively maybe looking for a relationship, but in your day-to-day life, how do you kind of put yourself in spaces that kind of make you actively looking, or are you kind of just like open to seeing what happens?
Yeah. So I guess I am interested in a real long-term relationship at this point. I I do acknowledge though that it's really hard to meet someone having those expectations and just kind of letting go of those expectations opens the space for more genuine connection and allows the relationship to unfold more organically. So long term open to short is I guess where I'm at. Yeah, I'd rather not fit a relationship into a specific mold until I know that that's the right mold for that person. What was your second question?
How do you kind of then, if you're looking for, you said long term, open to short as well, how do you occupy spaces in your life that kind of open you up to that? Or is it hard to occupy spaces in your life that have you being in those
Yeah.
spaces?
So I have been trying to focus my free time on networking, meeting new people, meeting new friends, and attending events where there will be new people who I can engage with. And I've used that as a way to meet potential romantic interests as well. Um, I'm not just looking for friends. I'm looking for something more intentional than that romantically. But I think just being out in the world and exposing myself to new experiences and being open to meeting new people, not being closed off is something that I've been trying to do to meet a future partner.
That you really do like puzzles and you are obviously an intelligent person, engineering mind. And if life is like a puzzle, then let's build your puzzle person. We can do
Okay.
this together. So basically how it works is we're going to present you with 12 different puzzle pieces. And
Okay.
by puzzle pieces, these could be traits or qualities or characteristics. But there is a catch, like always. You can only choose 6 pieces to build your complete puzzle person,
Okay.
and you won't know what's coming next. So that's the tricky part. You're not going to know what's going to come after. So you have to decide in this moment whether each piece goes into your puzzle or it gets left out.
Okay. That sounds good. Big
Because
puzzle.
I'm Canadian and I'm nice. After we go through all the 12, we'll review what you picked, and then you'll have a chance to swap a few pieces in and out to build this perfect puzzle person, and we can kind of just have some fun with it.
Okay. That sounds awesome. Let's build a puzzle.
Let's build a puzzle. Okay, so the first puzzle piece is extremely ambitious. Someone who's always working on the next big goal. They're career focused. They're driven to success. Are you in or are you out?
In.
In. Okay, come on, successful men, please. Okay, that's your first one then. Puzzle piece number 2. A great sense of humor. They can make you laugh in tough moments, and they also don't take themselves too seriously.
Feel like I'm gonna say in for the first 6, and then I'm gonna have this very unbalanced man.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love someone who has a good sense of humor. I don't think that's essential for me, though. So I will meter my responses, and I'll say out for this one.
Okay. Puzzle piece number 3 is going to be a deeply emotionally intelligent person. So they're really in tune with your feelings. They always know the right thing to say, how to comfort you, console you.
In.
Right. How
Definitely.
could you say out to
Yes.
that?
And a man who can express his feelings, who can communicate emotions is so sexy.
Adventurous spirit, loves spontaneous trips, trying new things, always suggesting the next adventure.
Yes. In.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in.
Our fifth puzzle piece is a close relationship with their family. So this could mean maybe talking to their parents daily or going on family gatherings every weekend, a tight knit familial bond. How do you feel about that?
I love that. I would love to have a phenomenal in-law relationship as well. I think as long as they have close relationships in their lives, I don't think they necessarily need to be with family members. So I'm gonna say out.
Hey, fair. I would agree. Okay, our next one, our sixth piece, intellectually curious. This person would love deep conversations. They love to read. They always want to understand how certain things work.
Understanding how things work sounds like the definition of an engineer. Yes, I love engineers.
Okay, here we go.
I might actually want to swap that for the ambitious. I think, but yes, in.
Okay. Puzzle piece number 7 is someone who is socially connected. So this could mean having a huge group of friends or always hosting or going to events. They are a social chameleon thriving in social settings. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah. Yes, I love social people. I love extroverts. I guess the downside to that is I don't want to be upstaged.
Um,
I so sometimes an introvert is a good balance,
that's true.
but let's say in.
Yeah,
I
for
do want
sure.
someone I can go out with and explore and be social with.
Okay, the eighth puzzle piece would be someone who's extremely thoughtful. So, they plan meaningful surprises for you. They have intentions in their relationships and they kind of remember the small detail that maybe some people would miss.
How can I say no to any of these? My love languages, well, my primary love language is words of affirmation, not necessarily acts of service or gifts. So I'm going to say out for thoughtful.
Financially secure and generous. Loves treating people, doesn't stress out about money, and they kind of live in a comfortable lifestyle.
In.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure.
And I think another side to being generous is being generous with your time, whether that's volunteering somewhere or helping mentor someone. If you don't have the financial stability to give money or pay for things, I think being generous with your time is still important to me.
Yeah, and also it's nice to see like someone who cares, even like giving within the constraints of what you have. It's really, really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And then we're on 10. So you're almost there. Highly independent. They have their own hobbies. They don't need constant togetherness or someone who's comfortable with alone time as well.
I do appreciate independence. I don't wanna be someone's mother,
Yeah, definitely not.
but I don't think it's the most important thing. So
Okay.
out.
Next one is a very affectionate individual. So this could mean physical touch or verbal affirmations. Someone who expresses love openly and frequently. No shame in their affection.
I do really love that. But what's the last one? I know you can't tell me. Yeah, I mean, I do need the validation to know that I'm the one you're thinking about and that you love me or you're happy for me or you're proud of me, whatever. I'll say in.
In. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Puzzle piece number 12 is someone who is calm and steady, doesn't get worked up easily, brings a grounding presence, and they are, even kind of are able to handle life's ups and downs without breaking down.
Oh, I like that one too.
Yeah, that's the one that I thought would kind of
Yeah.
you would resonate with because it's really like, yes, a grounding presence is so nice.
It really is. I think over the years, I've gotten a lot better at being that grounding presence for myself, but I still do love having someone I can lean on to be grounded when
Mhm.
I'm upset or my brain's not working
Yeah.
to its full capacity.
It's a bit tricky. So yeah, just as a little reminder, very affectionate, financially secure, socially connected, intellectually curious, adventurous spirit, and deeply emotionally intelligent. Do you think that a grounding presence could trump any of those qualities in someone?
Yes, I think maybe that could trump either intellectual curiosity or someone who's very affectionate.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with affectionate. We're gonna
Okay.
swap that out for the affectionate one.
Yeah, that last one is really nice because sometimes you just need someone to calm you down.
Yeah.
And life
The
moves so fast.
yeah. The interesting thing though is that you can see some of these traits at the beginning of a relationship and as a relationship progresses and you get into day-to-day life with someone, that's where that stability or groundedness
Mhm.
would manifest. So it's interesting. I don't think all of these traits would be present on a first date.
No, no, no.
That's very true. 3 months, 3 years.
What do you think this tells you about what you're, like, really looking for in a partner in the ways you answered this question?
I think what this shows me is that I'm looking for someone who shows up as their true authentic self and is not trying to hide their baggage, not trying to hide their negative qualities. Maybe on the first date, but after that, after that, tell me who you are. Um, yeah, someone who's genuine, someone who's authentic.
Okay, so that concludes our interview for today. Tori, thank you for being an amazing guest and letting me know so many fun things about you from, your wine recommendations to your amazing job that I'm going to keep an eye out for. In these 50 minutes, we are definitely confirming that Tori is eligible and she is more than just a catch. She's single. Please reach out to us, you guys. You can either reach us out on EligibleIn.com or send us an email to hello@EligibleIn.com. Honestly, if you guys even want, send us a DM and we will try our best to set you up with Tori if you also happen to be equally eligible. And then just a reminder, you can find us on Instagram at EligibleIn and also stream our podcast on any platform that has them. Thanks again, Tori.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Thanks for listening to Eligible In, a production of Eligible In Media. Our theme song is by Monster Rally. If you see someone you like on our show, or if you would like to nominate yourself or someone you love to be interviewed by us, please visit us at EligibleIn.com for more information, including a link to subscribe to our newsletter, where you can stay up to date on our newest episodes, as well as exclusive features of our eligible people.
Lovely.